Hey everybody, welcome to RoxTalk episode number 7. I'm one of your hosts, Brayden, along with my brother Dawson, and we are so excited to have you with us to talk Rockies baseball today. Now, the Rockies got off to a really hot start, kind of cooled down when we were talking last week. We were about to enter into a little bit of a tough stretch, but we've kind of made a little bit of a turn back. And so, Dawson, if in case they've missed it, catch them up on the last week for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, so the last week was really bad, and then it was really great. So it was kind of one of those
the tale of two halves, really.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those Rockies weeks that we're kind of used to, actually, sometimes. Start of the week, we were on the road. We won on last Sunday in Detroit. So, we got the series win. We were heading to Philly on a good note. Happy flight to Philly. And then Monday through Thursday, 4-game sweep, got swept by the Phillies. And not just swept, I mean...
throttled.
Yeah, destroyed. Like, just run differential, terrible defense, terrible pitching. Hitting was decent, but not coming through in big spots. Just really rough. So, very tough flight, I'm sure, back to Denver. But, going home, you have to feel a little better. Going against a 3-16 team in the Reds Friday through Sunday this past weekend. Got the sweep of them. Very much needed. Got to take advantage of those, like we said last week. Just hit well, pitched amazing. Defense was clean. I mean, just a great all-around series. And so Reds having a tough start at 3-19 now, but Rockies got the 3 back. So, we're 13-9 and kind of working our way back and taking advantage of those. So kind of a good week. Kind of made you forget about the sweep. So
yeah, I mean, we're sitting right now at 4th in the NL West. Again, we talk about this a lot. Wild NL West. I mean, looking at these records, Dodgers are 14-7, Padres are 15-8, Giants are 14-8. So we're not that far behind, honestly. Obviously, it's still early in the season, but those 4 games that we dropped to Philly, I mean, those are big swing games.
Yep.
And if we win 2 of those games, we're looking at a bit of a different record here. Not that it's substantial at the moment, but anytime you get absolutely floored like that, it's a little bit demoralizing. So after we left Philly, I was really concerned about coming back to Coors. I was afraid our pitchers were going to get shelled. I know that the Reds aren't the greatest team in the league right now, obviously up to a really rough start. But I was just concerned that after a 4-game sweep, we were going to roll over or struggle. But fortunately, they came out hot. Pitching looked a lot better. So that was really important. Of course, the one kind of downside in the last couple of days here, or the last week, I suppose, is Chris Bryant, who's now on the 10-day DL. And is that for back tightness?
yeah, back soreness. And IL. Don't want to...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The IL. It's not the DL. Don't call it the DL anymore. It's the IL. The injured list. Not the disabled list. Anyway, so the IL, 10-day IL, and Chris, he wasn't really doing anything specific. Like we talked last week, he was playing well, didn't have a huge like power impact, but obviously, I mean, I don't know about you, but I felt the difference in our lineup just without him there.
Yeah, I agree. One good thing though is, the guys that filled in did step up.
For sure.
So that was good to see. You see Sam Hilliard getting a few starts in the outfield more than he would with Chris in there. He hasn't hit a home run yet, but like the past few games he's played, especially, I just see a huge difference plate discipline-wise. Just laying off tough pitches that we see him swing and miss at a lot. So working counts, drawing walks, doing his job, doing better. So, but still, you just feel the difference, the leadership and just his presence at the plate for sure, but
yeah. But he'll be okay.
Yep.
His scheduled return is when?
Yeah, so he's eligible to return Friday against the Diamondbacks, but him and Buddy both said that's not really set in stone. Just when he can get off, but they don't really want to set a date for when he's coming back, which I think is good. You don't want to rush it back, but hopefully he's good to go Friday. I know he played some catch the other day, and then was kind of sore, but it's good that he was at least cleared to play catch. So
this early in the season, it's one of those things where I would rather him take some extra time than really slow play it than potentially rush something and then get him injured mid-season or late when we're really going to need him, especially if we're trying to make a push for something.
Exactly. And we'll be on the road this weekend against the Diamondbacks. But honestly, this is the stretch when, if any time of the year, I'd want him injured. Just since we played against the Reds. Nats are coming to town for 3 games, and they're one of the worst teams in baseball too, really struggling. Diamondbacks they're actually playing kind of good the past few days, but they really struggle too. So even if he misses that series, as long as he's healthy by when we play the Giants and start playing some of those teams in the next couple weeks, we'll need him then.
For sure. And I mean, when you think about it, I know we'll talk more about the keys to the series versus, Washington and then Arizona, but right now is a critical time for us. There's moments in the course of a long baseball season, there's moments where you can, as we've talked about before, you can kind of steal some wins. You can swipe some victories. And this is the time where we need to do that. This is not the time for us to get content or slouch because we have some teams that maybe aren't playing quite as well. This is the time to really foot on the throat, get, 9 whatever. I mean, it'd be great to see us get 7 wins, 9 wins in the next week or so, because that's going to position us in a competitive spot going into some tougher scheduling, right? I think anytime you look at the teams that are sitting above us, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, when they have series like this that we're getting into, normally they throttle them.
Yeah.
And that's been the difference historically, is when they have an opportunity to roll over or they have an opportunity to take a night off, they instead go out and absolutely kill somebody, demoralize them, and then continue to work. And that's why we've seen them get so many victories. But if our Rockies are going to play really, really well and going to do real damage this year, I think it's these types of stretches that are really intriguing to me, because it's, hey, this is not, let's step up and beat the Dodgers. This is, hey, let's keep our mental focus. Let's stay really, really sharp. Let's play without Chris for a couple days, and let's get some big time wins. Because again, I know it's really early. We're only a game and a half back. Out of first. Again, really
still
really
one thing,
but we're within really easy striking distance. And Diamondbacks are 5 out. Again, really early, not something to just really keep an eye on, but opportunities to stay really competitive.
Yep, and we've been playing great too. Like the past, I think they said 5 months of going back to last season in, I think it was June or July. I think it was July. We haven't even had a losing month since then. So there hasn't been a series or a month where we're 18-12 or anything really good like that, but it's 16-15, stuff like that, at least above 500, and it's progress getting better. So hopefully we can keep that up. But I mean, there's nothing more demoralizing than losing a series to a terrible team when you're playing good baseball, or even just losing a game in general. Sometimes if you get whipped, I mean, it happens. But if you play a game like you did in Philly against a really bad team, it could change things. But I think the way we're playing, we're on a good track. So
yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. One of those guys, obviously, that's been leading us from really the start of the season, but has been absolutely crushing it. I mean, crushing the ball, playing well in the field, and obviously one of the favorites because of that, CJ Cron. He actually leads the NL in home runs at 8 and RBIs, I think, right?
Yep.
At 21. So CJ Cron is crushing it. What do you see from CJ?
Yeah, like you said, 8 home runs, 21 RBIs. I think the first player to do that last year was a month from now last year. He's hitting 282, so I mean, he's hitting good, 326 on base percentage. That's pretty solid because he does strike out quite a bit. And I mean, you can't expect him to just be insane like Mike Trout numbers or anything. But then he also has 14 extra base hits, which also leads the National League. He's just seeing the ball really well, and he's doing his job. I just love when you see him drive the ball the other way or up the middle, and get an RBI single where, 3-run bomb would be awesome, which he has been doing. But it's not just that. He'll do that, but then he'll also get an RBI single to the opposite field or up the middle, and that's just doing your job. He's not trying to do too much. And when you do that, like we said, the past few weeks, the power will show up.
Yeah, it's the up the middle, the other way thing that I remember playing in high school baseball, and even what we've been telling some of our players that we're a part of right now. Like, hey, when we see you going up the middle the other way, your swing looks good. When you're able to make contact and make good contact in those opportunities in tough at-bats where maybe you're not ahead in the count or maybe you're trying to fight back or battle, you get hits like that, it's easier to then take one out onto the concourse, right? Yeah. Not that I've ever done that, but you get the idea. And the other thing, I think it's just an interesting thing to know about CJ, and Dawson, maybe you want to speak to this a little bit too, but oftentimes people get frustrated if you don't know a ton about baseball. I'm not degrading anybody, but like, oh, he strikes out too much, or oh, he does this. Well, in reality, part of CJ's job is to be a power bat in our lineup. It's okay. You'll see this with other players too. It's not, oh, well, that player strikes out so much. Well, today's game is different than it used to be then. You're going to trade sometimes a power bat for strikeouts. And I'm not saying I like that because, again, I'm a traditionalist at times, but for the people who are saying, oh, 22 strikeouts, that's way too many for somebody like this. Well, the reality is it's actually not for somebody like CJ Cron, because we want to see him hitting bombs like that. And with hitting bombs comes a little bit of additional strikeouts. It's just the nature of the beast, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, it just happens. And like you said, the game's changing, and you don't just see that in the Rockies lineup. You see, the Yankees are a great example of that, with Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Joey Gallo especially. It's basically strikeout or bomb with him. Yeah. And he only has 2 bombs and like 30 strikeouts or something. But it's just a part of the game now. So,
yeah. It's just an interesting dynamic. I remember, growing up or even watching, back in the day or watching old stuff, anytime you struck out, like, we do not strike out. Strikeouts are whatever. But now it's like, hey, we'll take a strikeout if you'll hit us a bomb. Like a day 1 for 3 with a bomb and 2 strikeouts. Yeah. It's actually a good day. It's just an interesting dynamic. Whereas used to, I don't feel like that was the case.
Or even Rymax this weekend. He had it was 1-1 or 2-2, and he hit a go-ahead 3-run bomb and was one of the players of the game that night. Well, he also had 3 strikeouts, but no one's talking about it, It's just like a part of it.
Yeah. But and it's the time that he hit it. Like you said, the 3-run go-ahead shot.
Yep.
If it was the first inning and then he struck out in a crucial moment, it's just it's a weird trade-off. So talk to me. I know this isn't necessarily on what we're supposed to be talking about, but I'm just intrigued. As a player, let's say you're Rymack that night. That's an interesting dynamic, because sure, you hit the 3-run bomb, but then you K up 3 times. Are you able as a player to separate that and be like, okay, sweet, I hit the home run, or are you kicking yourself about the strikeouts?
Just because I know the guys, when you think of Ryan McMahon, he's got to be kicking himself over because we did end up winning by 6, which, he got us started. But just the competitiveness of some of these guys on all teams, but specifically right now, with McMahon, yes, he's happy he got the 3-run shot, but he's watching the film and I got to cut down on strikeouts. He actually leads the team in strikeouts with 25. So that doesn't help either, He's got to cut down, or he wants to cut down, but he's stepping up and doing better, so that's good to see.
I just always think about, for me, when I was playing, sometimes moments of really good things were so overshadowed by failures or mistakes that sometimes I couldn't really appreciate the success that I had or the success that maybe somebody else had because I was thinking about the other things. But when you think about baseball, it is a game where if you fail 7 out of 10 times, Hall of Fame type caliber player. So it's just such an interesting dynamic. Again, if you don't understand baseball, it can be hard to understand why a 1 for 4 day with 3 strikeouts is great because you hit a 3-run go-ahead shot. But if you do get baseball, especially the baseball that we're playing these days, it's like, hey, it's a good day for Ryan.
Yeah.
And it's important. It's just an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Plus, you're facing some insane arms, too. So, you're facing the toughest pitchers in the world. So, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. I'd love to get 1 hit a season. So,
yeah. Any more,
against these guys, not in, against my guys.
But it is crazy. Think about that. We faced Hunter Green, who's hitting 6 figures.
6 figures.
6 figures. He's definitely hitting 6 figures. Hitting 3 digits, 100 miles an hour, just ridiculous amount of speed and power off the mound, and we did pretty well. Yep. It's dynamically interesting. Okay, so moving on from this, made a lot of roster moves lately. Tell them why, and then tell them about the roster moves.
Yeah, so we were actually forced to make roster moves this week because of the abbreviated spring training. We started the season with 28-man rosters around the league Tuesday of this week. So today, depending on when you're watching this, I guess, it's going from 28 back to the normal 26-man roster. So the Rockies actually sent down Kyle Feltner, Alan Trejo, and really kind of a tough name to say. We'll just kind of throw that out right now. I think I saw on here it's how did this? I think it's like L.A. Ruiz or something. It's something weird.
Oh, is it different? I thought it was L.A. Harris.
It might be L.A. Harris. I don't know, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, L.A. Harris Montero was also sent down. If we're saying that wrong, that's okay, I guess.
I know Montero's right. We'll tell you next week what the appropriate pronunciation for the first name.
Yeah, but those three, Montero, Feltner, and Trejo, were sent down to AAA. Obviously, that's 3, so that would make it a 25-man roster. Garrett Hampson on rehab assignment in Albuquerque this weekend is expected, not for sure, but expected to get called up for the series against the Nats. And then with Montero, though, I mean, had 2 base hits on Sunday in his debut. That was fun to see, and then 5 minutes later, you're back down. Obviously, he's probably expecting that, you know, but good for him to get those hits.
Yeah,
for sure.
It shows that he can play at the major league level.
Yep.
And he's somebody that I think is an exciting prospect. He's one of those guys that came over in the Arenado trade too, right? Which people were upset about. And, you know, justifiably so. We did address that a lot. People frustrated with the way that Nolan's situation was handled. But you look and see a couple of guys that are contributing. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying they're a replacement for Nolan because I don't know that you can replace Nolan. Mm-hmm. But you can see the fruit of that trade, which is good. Because in a lot of ways, I feel like we did nothing.
Yeah. And it gives you a glimpse of what's to come, too. Because he's 23 years old.
Yeah. So it's a glimpse into the future. And that's the other thing that I think is exciting about the Rockies. It's not like we got a bunch of, 35-year-old guys. While we do have some older guys, there's a lot of talent. Yeah. Young talent. Ezequiel Tovar, Montero. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are young that I think if we can keep them in our system, and honestly, with the new management that we have in the front office, I'm excited about watching the Rockies, not just this year, but in the future. Roster moves are always interesting for me because I was really mad about Trejo going down. I know that maybe he shouldn't have went down, but I just am biased toward Alan Trejo. If you've been watching this podcast at all, you know that. I think that he should not be down. But it's okay. He is. Brennan Rodgers, the guy that I really felt like he should be replacing, actually did a little bit yesterday, right, which was good to see. You think he's finally took the turn, or what do you think?
I mean, it's good to see for sure. It was May 1st, Sunday, got 3 RBI double, RBI single, 4 RBIs where he had 1 all of April. It's good because he can kind of just forget about that month, and hopefully he'll just kind of have this as his start of the season, kind of, and just go from there. So I hope that he can play consistent and work his way back. Hopefully it wasn't just a 1-game thing, but. And if he does struggle, we might see Trejo get back up, but.
Yeah, so roster moves, it's good to see, his back come back a little bit, even if it's just for one day. Like we've talked about before, Brennan Rodgers has the opportunity to really contribute to our lineup. And when he's playing well, he's a great, great piece. And so I hope to see that continue. Let's talk about the series that are coming up. Obviously, we've got right now Washington coming to Denver. That'll be starting the day of this podcast release, which is Tuesday. What are your keys to that series? What are you seeing from the Nats?
Yeah. Well, again, they're one of the struggling teams right now in the league. So, you just got to take advantage of it again. I'd love to see another sweep. Jump on them early. Pitching's got to just can't walk guys. On Sunday, we didn't walk a single guy. Yep. And, it shows. We won 10-1. Yeah. So, pitching to your job, get lots of strikeouts because a lot of these guys are kind of what we're saying, maybe home run or strikeout, or just really struggling. Yeah. So got to get, even if they're not strikeouts, can't give free bases, and then clean defense, of course.
Yeah. But. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if there's much to add to that. I just really would like to see us jump on them, jump on them early, jump on them often, play really, really good, clean baseball. And just play hard. I know that we're capable of getting a sweep here, as well as when we play the Diamondbacks, and it'd be great to see, 6 wins on the docket in a row. Like if we could get these 3 sweeps out, maybe that's not as realistic as we make it seem, but if we could get a good chunk of wins here, it's a big deal. We often talk, well, they're really struggling right now. Well, it's still a Major League Baseball team with some real power in their lineup that could give us a hard time. I agree the pitching's got to be there. I think, locating our pitches is going to be a big deal. And like you said, we can't just have walks. For whatever reason, it seems like sometimes the Rockies have to give up a few runs in the late innings, and I don't know why that is. If we can limit that, I think that's really the last 3 innings of these baseball games. I really want to see us have some clean baseball.
Yep.
Pitch well, no errors in the field, and even hang up a few runs, whether it's for insurance or go-ahead stuff. I just think that's a really, really crucial part of the National Series, but also the Diamondback Series. Do you have anything different for the Diamondback Series in terms of keys for the victories there?
I think it's just the same. We kind of struggled on the road this past week, though. So, just be road warriors, play how we did to start the season in Texas, and get at least 2 out of 3 on the road.
So we got to get wins on the road.
Absolutely. And get runs on the road, too.
Yeah.
And actually, pitching was more critical. Defense. Everything was bad.
We just got to play good on the road.
Yep.
And you're gonna have bad games. You just can't have bad series.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But that's really all I got today. I think that's all we got. Maybe it's a little bit shorter than before, but that's okay. Do you have any final thoughts to leave with them before we let them go here?
Probably just the only other player to kind of keep your eye on, I guess, is Randall Grichuk. He's another guy, new addition to the Rockies this offseason too, in the trade. He's killing it. He's hitting .338 with a .389 on base percentage, 3 home runs, and second on the team with 14 RBIs. Had his first Coors Field home run on Sunday. So he's got to kind of watch too. Big power bat. And he's been driving it the other way a lot too. So he's fun to watch. And he's the guy that you can really trust when he goes up.
Yeah. Just about from top to bottom, our lineup is exciting. Kind of a thing that I wanted to share with the audience that doesn't have anything to do with the Rockies specifically, but rather your listening experience. This is officially the last week that we'll have one microphone sitting in the middle of an echoey room. We have a full studio really getting delivered to us. So we'll have higher quality mics, echo reduction with some sound paneling and different things like that, and a few odds and ends. But we're very excited about that. So if you've stuck with us to this point, thank you so much. It really does mean a ton to us that you would listen and support. And we're excited to deliver a better audio experience as well, just so that you can enjoy it a little bit more. Thanks for sticking with us. As always, go Rockies.
Yep, go Rocks.